German author Cornelia Funk once said, "A reader doesn't see the characters in a story, he feels them." Greetings to you, dear listener. And in the case of Reza Kordi from A Good Country by Lale Khadivi and Star Amara Carter from The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, this quote couldn't be more true. Whether it was through their commendable displays of courage, their adaptability to situations, or their free spirited attitude to going about their lives, the authors have successfully manifested these characters from being figments of their imagination into characters that resonate with me personally in their own way. And one character I could not get out of my head for weeks is Reza Kodi from A Good Country. In A Good Country, readers follow a story that depicts the events, thought processes, and the feelings that envelop a person on a journey to radicalization, and Rez experiences them all. Rez is, at first, the typical example of an immigrant's child in just about every respect. He's an overachiever and particularly is fearful of his father, sometimes mistaking this fear for respect. And the first aspect of his character that resonates with me is his ability to be spontaneous. In the beginning of the book, Rez, when he is ridiculed by his father for receiving a B symbol on his report, rather bravely stands up to his father for the first time in his life. Following their exchange, Reza starts smoking and picks up surfing, waving his old life goodbye and becoming a real free-spirited teenager. He demonstrates his ability to throw caution to the wind in this scene, which is a characteristic I have come to adore about him. Khadivi portrays his reckless and angry state of mind through creative use of dialogue, which will place the reader into the minds of the two interacting parties. There are also swear words in the dialogue which show the heated nature of the interaction, and there are no words that are breaking up the exchange between Rez and his father, which shows the fast-paced, reckless nature with which the words were exchanged between them. Another aspect of Rez that resonates with me as a reader is his struggle that he faces in his transition from boyhood to manhood. As a teenage boy at the end of his high school career, this is a journey that I am personally traveling, which is why this aspect of Rez resonates with me as much as it does. The challenge that he faces is that he's at a turning point. He's at the stage where he should start feeling like a man, but this doesn't happen. In order to kickstart this process, Rez tries various things that society is depicted as being manly. He tries sex, marijuana, and alcohol, but none of them work. He feels no more like a man, which is a feeling that will last until the end of the novel. Khadivi portrays the struggle by putting the readers inside Rez's head and writing the thoughts from his perspective, especially those pertaining to his manhood. Furthermore, Rez inspires me through the courage and the adaptability that he shows toward the end of the book. His willingness to abandon everything that is familiar to him for a life that he believes is better is commendable and something that very few of us would ever be willing to do. On the topic of courage, another character who, to me, shown an endless amount is Tara Mara Carter, a 16-year-old American teenager who, after witnessing her best friend get brutally murdered by a police officer, has to fight for her friend to get justice. On a personal level, stars inspire me to be as a reader because despite fear of being called a snitch by the sworn disciples of hood culture, despite the threats on her life after doing so, Star speaks up and declares herself as the only witness to the murder of Khalil Harris. Her ability to fight for justice is an inspiration to me, despite her own internal battles, and something that I aspire to do. And Angie Thomas depicts those struggles through effective use of dialogue and the use of first-person narrative. Dialogue, particularly between Star and Kenya, is used to illustrate the problems that Star faces and her hesitation to join the fight for justice. First-person narrative is used effectively to place us closer to the events that are happening and closer to Star's thoughts throughout the experience. Finally, I can personally relate to Star because she demonstrates one of the most prominent yet least talked about elements of Black culture: code switching. Star, like a lot of Black people, is a master of code switching and switches effectively between the non-confrontational, calm Williamson Star and the slang-using, basketball-playing and sneaker-loving Garden Heights Star. Once again, Angie Thomas depicts this through her use of first-person narrative, which, in this case, allows us readers to explore Star's mind and thoughts as she navigates the challenges before her. She also uses dialogue in the opening scene of the novel to show that Star is a lover of sneakers when she reprimands Khalil for cleaning his sneakers incorrectly. Through their courage, navigating difficulties, and the ability to show accurately what it really means to be a minority in the United States of America, these characters have inspired and continue to resonate with me. Thank you for your time.